Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany here with my co-host, Emily Compagno and Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Princeton University political scientist Lauren Wright and the host of Making Money on Fox Business, Charles Payne. Harris, I want to start there. Autocrats only understand one word, no. The Ukrainians called the Nord Stream 2 pipeline a weapon. His own press secretary, Jen Psaki, called it a geopolitical win for Russia. So if they only understand no, why was a pipeline given to the perpetrator of the Ukraine war, Russia?
Well, we know why, because there's really no foreign policy to speak of with how they're dealing with this. At least they haven't articulated it, and it's high time a year into the war, with all of the billions of American taxpayer dollars, that we be told what the end game is. What does no look like? And by the way, now we have a dual problem. China's willing to help Russia out, willing to put military assets on the ground, weaponry on the ground. And so that conceivably becomes another place that we've not told no to. We didn't tell them no. We waited until the spy craft from China reached the shores of South Carolina, and then we shot it down. We didn't tell them no when it was on its way here, and we knew it was packing some kind of a payload. We knew that our transmissions were not able to jam some of their transmissions from what scientists were telling us at the time. We didn't tell them no. And by the way, Putin's military, the Chinese military, they're no longer talking to the Pentagon. And why don't we say no? That's not how it's going to work. We are the power in the free world. It's us. Biden just said he had to bring together more than 50 countries in coalition. Why is it always just us?
Right.
Like, I know the role that we play, but we can't use the word no, one of the first things a 2-year-old learns.
Yeah, to your point, we didn't tell China no on the spy balloon till it had traversed the entirety of the continental U.S. Charles, also, apparently we're not telling China no when it comes to some points we could be using to be competitive rather than congenial with China. Josh Rogin makes this point in the Washington Post. He says this, that the Biden administration's in courtship mode and that a GOP Senate aide said even after the airship incident, the administration continues to sit on a list of competitive actions against China. You compare that with the Trump administration, 22 actions by the Justice Department, including indictments, 60 actions by the State Department, 27 by the White House, 23 by the Defense Department. So it doesn't sound like we're doing a whole lot of no with our other adversaries.
I got to tell you, it has been so embarrassing to watch President Biden virtually beg, just beg President Xi openly. You know, that press conference last week, after the balloon thing, and he's, we're not apologizing. No, you are apologizing. Me thinketh thou protest too much,
Yes.
And everyone could see right through it. And since then, all the headlines have been Biden's reaching out. I mean, he said we're reaching out, and it sounds to me like they've called, they've done everything, and she won't answer the phone.
Well, that's true.
And how does China float a surveillance balloon over the United States, over nuclear power, nuclear military bases, for a week, gather all this data, to your point, and then they're the victims. And then they have the nerve to be upset with America, and we're begging them, please come back to the table.
Because they know who they are. And we're having an identity crisis.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with that. The only time I really see President Biden get tough is when he's going against the so-called MAGA crowd, fellow Americans. This has emboldened bad actors around the world. North Korea firing off ICBMs over the weekend. They're getting more advanced. No one talks about it. Again, I do believe if President Trump was in office, this would it would be the kind of news story we would hear more about, what's happening in Iran. And now what's really happening is the reconstitution of the so-called BRIC nations. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and other nations petitioning to be a part of it. So there's some things that are happening right now that beneath the surface, the tectonic shifts that we have to make sure don't fall apart, or everything's going to fall apart.
It's true. Emily, the other line that stood out to me was this war was never a necessity, but a tragedy. This was an avoidable tragedy, though. To your point about the Trump administration, I maintain that this wouldn't have happened. We saw Crimea taken in the Obama years, Russia really at bay during the Trump years, and now exerting force and trying to redraw the map once again. The commonality between Biden is he was there as VP for Obama.
Right. Peace is maintained by having strong defense. Peace is maintained by being unequivocal and strong about using offense when necessary. Peace is maintained by not capitulating to the enemies. And that is why under your prior boss's administration, we saw no invasions. There were no dips into our sovereign airspace, and then, frankly, a global humiliation, which is what is occurring right now. I note as well, President Biden said the defense of freedom is not a day's work, it takes many. He's absolutely right. We've seen that defense of freedom day by day be totally eroded under his lack of leadership. And pushing further a little bit on the Josh Rogan article that you touched on there, he makes the point, it's so obvious, as China maintained on that Munich stage that the world was watching, that we chased them around. We demanded an apology. They gave no apology. In fact, they said publicly that we were absurd and hysterical in shooting down the balloon. The German conference there, the security conference, they said, will you acknowledge Taiwan? Will you acknowledge and commit to not further escalation? They said, nope, we won't, because that's our country and it's never going to be their own. At every outlet that China was given to extend some type of reassurance to the globe that they are not the superpower, the narcissistic superpower that they are, itching and clawing one step at a time to get more power, they didn't. And the bottom line is this administration continues to show that we don't have that strength of leadership your prior boss did, that prior Secretary of State Pompeo did. Blinken has done nothing to reassure me as a working American that my safety is in their hands. If anything, it's absolutely to the contrary.
That's right. And that Rogan piece you mentioned, there were just some interesting lines in there. It's Washington Post piece, Lauren. He says the Biden administration came to Munich this weekend eagerly courting a reset with China, but in public and in private, China's top diplomat rejected the overture. He goes on to say that despite the administration's claims to the contrary, the evidence suggests that Biden's doing the chasing. We are chasing China, in the words of Josh Rogan. I can tell you that is not something that happened in the 4 years prior to the Biden administration.
Biden has a huge problem, and that problem is that there's waning support for financial and military support in Ukraine, even among Republicans. And at the same time, if China is able to get its hands in this war, if Russia expands its territory, then we'll be in a different conflict, which is hopefully not in Poland or Romania, but in places we are pledged to defend. And that's a disaster. And so the word ought to be leadership. It ought to be strength. As everyone's saying, take a page out of Reagan's 1983 playbook. Maybe you build up the military when Russia's economy is suffering so much, and you make a big demonstration that we're not going to back down. But there are very few options when eventually you're having a nuclear warfare conversation, and that's really scary to a lot of Americans. They don't know how they feel about this.
So hit them where it counts. They own so much of our debt. They don't survive if we don't buy all of those products, I mean, that they make in China. Why don't we start to put more, and the president says that more sanctions are coming. Can there ever be any specificity with this administration? What does that even mean? What does that even look like? And by the way, keeping it a secret doesn't help us win. We don't know who we are right now, but apparently we want to engage in what we export the most of, and that's fame. We want to be popular. He goes there, he gives a speech, but he won't go to the chemical spill waste site, the wasteland that we have unfolding across at least 2 states, originating from Ohio and now into Pennsylvania. He won't go there where Americans are suffering. I mean, the communists know who they are. The Russian government knows who it is. They embrace the fact that they're not the good guys. They're good with that.
And they will torture their people and suppress their people.
We have to be strong.
And Kayleigh, can I just say, you talk about the specificity required. Remember that Antony Blinken threatened China with unspecified consequences in Munich, and then our U.S. officials refused to acknowledge whether China had already crossed the line that he allegedly drew in the sand that would provoke those unspecified consequences. At every point, it is just talk that means nothing to anyone, least of all us.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.